How do you make a woman feel deep desire for you, even when she seems completely uninterested? That question alone has kept millions of men awake at night. Because nothing is more confusing than feeling drawn to a woman who seems incredible. Yet no matter how kind, attentive, or available you become, the emotional spark just never seems to ignite. And here's the part most men never realize. The problem usually isn't what you're doing, it's when and how you're doing it. Hi, I'm Lauren, and today on Love, Lies, and Reality, we're diving into one of the most misunderstood truths about female psychology and emotional attraction. Because desire does not grow the way logic works. You cannot talk a woman into wanting you. You cannot convince attraction through effort alone. And the harder most men try, the colder the energy often becomes. Why? Because female desire is built through psychological triggers, emotional contrast, and subconscious perception, not surface level nice guy behavior. Today, I'm breaking down 7 powerful psychological triggers that can awaken desire, create emotional magnetism, and completely shift how women feel around you. And stay with me until the very end, because your trigger number 7 is the most powerful of them all. When used correctly, it can change the entire emotional dynamic fast, and almost no men understand how to use it without sabotaging themselves. But before we go deeper, I need you to hear something clearly. This was never your fault. No one ever taught men this growing up. School never explained female attraction. Movies distorted it. Society simplified it. And most dating advice only teaches surface-level behavior. So while you were trying to prove you'd be a good man through words, consistency, and logic, her deeper emotional brain was scanning for completely different signals. Research in evolutionary psychology shows that attraction often happens through mental shortcuts and emotional pattern recognition. These are subconscious cues the brain responds to automatically, and once you understand them, something powerful happens. You stop chasing, you stop forcing, you stop over-explaining, and instead, you naturally become the kind of man women feel drawn toward. Let's start with the raw first psychological trigger, masculine presence. This has nothing to do with muscles, money, or model looks. It's about energy, you. When you enter a room, do you expand or do you shrink? Do you move with calm, grounded certainty? Or do you rush, scan for approval, and unconsciously signal nervousness? Women notice this within seconds. A man who moves slowly, breathes deeply, keeps his shoulders relaxed, and never looks desperate for validation sends a silent message of value. And that message is powerful, because presence communicates confidence before words ever have the chance. Imagine you walk into a social event, a lounge, a cafe, or a bar. Instead of searching the room anxiously, trying to figure out who is watching, you simply settle into yourself. Your body is relaxed, your movements are measured, your attention is not scattered. That one shift instantly changes perception. Her subconscious radar turns on. She feels something different, not because you performed harder, but because you became more centered in yourself. And grounded masculine energy is rare, and rarity creates attraction faster than effort ever will. Now let's move to trigger number 2, emotional challenge. This is where most men accidentally kill attraction. They agree with everything. They validate every opinion. They become emotionally predictable. But attraction does not thrive in constant agreement. It thrives in contrast, polarity, and playful tension. And no, tension is not conflict. Tension is emotional electricity. Let's say she tells you she loves waking up at 5 a.m. every day. Instead of immediately agreeing, you smile and say, "Really? You definitely look more like a snooze button champion." Now notice what that does. It creates emotional movement. It creates playful contrast. It makes the interaction feel alive. You're not being rude. You're not trying to dominate. You're simply showing that you're comfortable expressing your own playful perspective. That confidence creates spark because attraction feeds on emotional contrast, not robotic harmony. If this is already opening your eyes, hit the like button and subscribe to Love Lies in Reality, because most men go their entire lives without understanding these deeper attraction triggers. Now, the third trigger is selective attention, and this one changes everything. This is where many men completely lose control. They give too much too fast, instant replies, always available, canceling plans, prioritizing her over everything else. And while it feels like effort, the subconscious mind often reads this as low perceived value. A man with purpose does not revolve around attention. He has direction, he has a life, he has things that genuinely matter beyond romance. That's what creates intrigue. When you have goals, hobbies, discipline, meaningful friendships, and a life you genuinely enjoy, your attention becomes more valuable. Now your presence feels chosen, not desperate. That difference is huge because curiosity grows when she senses that your world is already full and she wants to become part of it. This is not about playing games. It's about emotional balance. Scarcity creates curiosity. Overavailability kills it. Now let's move into trigger number 4, intentional listening. This is where emotional connection starts becoming real. Most men hear words, few men remember meaning, and women instantly feel the difference. When you recall a small detail she mentioned days ago and bring it up naturally later, you separate yourself from the crowd immediately. For example, she casually mentions loving orchids. A few days later, you send her a photo of one you passed and say, "Saw this and instantly thought of you." That is powerful because now she feels seen. An emotional connection is built through recognition, not compliments, not generic praise, recognition. That level of intentional awareness tells her that when she speaks, you actually absorb her world. And when care is combined with grounded masculine strength, attraction deepens fast. Now here comes trigger number 5, calibrated vulnerability. This is where real emotional intimacy begins. Many men believe they must appear emotionally untouchable, always strong, always perfect, always unshaken. But women do not connect deeply with perfection. They connect with truth delivered through strength. When you share something real, a past lesson, a challenge you overcame, a fear you learned from, without collapsing into victim energy, you become deeply relatable. Now she sees depth. Now she sees humanity. Now she sees emotional maturity. This kind of vulnerability builds trust because it shows you are strong enough to be honest. Real strength is not pretending to be flawless. Real strength is being at peace with your imperfections. And trust is often the gateway to deeper desire. Now let's move to trigger number 6, gradual physical touch. This is one of the fastest ways the brain creates emotional bonding. Science shows that light, respectful touch can release oxytocin, the hormone linked to trust, comfort, and connection. A brief touch on the arm during a laugh, a light shoulder brush while walking side by side, a natural touch that matches the emotional flow of the moment. Nothing forced, nothing rushed, nothing invasive, just warmth. These moments create a subconscious physical association. Her brain starts linking your presence with safety, chemistry, and emotional comfort. And when touch feels natural instead of strategic, it becomes incredibly powerful. Now we arrive at the 7th and most powerful trigger, controlled unpredictability. This is where fascination is born. The human brain is addicted to dopamine, and dopamine spikes strongest through rewarding uncertainty. That means the brain becomes obsessed with what feels emotionally engaging but not fully predictable. This does not mean inconsistency. It does not mean mixed signals. It means emotional range, sometimes warm, sometimes teasing, sometimes deeply attentive, sometimes allowing space. Sometimes you initiate first. Sometimes you let the energy breathe. This creates mystery, and mystery keeps her mind returning to you when you are not there. She starts replaying conversations, rereading messages, wondering what your next emotional move might be. That anticipation becomes attraction fuel, and almost no men use this correctly. They either become too predictable or too chaotic. The power is in calibrated unpredictability. Enough warmth to feel safe, enough contrast to feel exciting. Now you finally have something real, not pickup tricks, not manipulative lines, not fake alpha behavior, real psychological tools rooted in how attraction actually works. Use them with respect. Use them with emotional intelligence. Use them with integrity, because the goal is never to force desire. The goal is to become the kind of man whose energy naturally creates it, and that changes everything. If this video gave you a new perspective, comment. Trigger below so I know you stayed until the end. And if you want more deep female psychology, mature dating advice, attraction science, and real masculine communication, subscribe to Love Lies in Reality and turn on notifications, because the men who understand emotional psychology stop chasing and start becoming unforgettable. See you in the next one.